Hi everyone, it's Max here from Ralphie, and I wanted to give you a quick overview on how to get your RALfieBox connected to the internet. So let's get started. Alright, lying here in front of me we have all the parts necessary to connect your activity to Ralphie. Note that I haven't got the actual activity here. We don't have any of the Lego Mindstorm here. That's part of another video. But what we want to do is just make sure that we can get our RALfieBox connected back to Ralphie headquarters so that you can actually control activities that are attached to this RALfieBox. So let's have a look at some of the hardware. So essentially what we've got is a RALfieBox here. On the back of this, in fact, when you pick it up you'll say, hey, that looks like an internet router. Indeed it is. This is a custom modified router. We've got special firmware in here that does all the necessary stuff in the background to make it work with Ralphie. On the back of this, we may as well go through this, on the back of this device we have the 3 Wi-Fi antennas. We only need to use one of those sockets at this moment in time. We then have 4 downstream sockets which we can connect to activities or to webcams and things like that, and then we have a connector here that simply allows us to connect the RALfieBox to our home internet router, which in this case is this device over here for me. Obviously you'll have a completely different device depending on what you have at home, and all we're going to do is take you through the process of how to connect that. Also, cameras are IP connected and they'll obviously connect to the RALfieBox as well. So let's get started. The very first thing we need to do is get internet access. So we'll do this by connecting and powering up our home internet router, which in my case is this Netgear router over here. This blue lead at the back here, that's what that's what's providing my internet access. So that will just boot in the background, and then out of that router I will simply have live internet, and that's great. That's what we need. The very next thing we need to do is set up the Wi-Fi antennas on both the RALfieBox and on the IP camera. Now in actual fact you don't need the Wi-Fi antenna on the IP camera, but I'll just show you where it goes anyway, just in case you remove it or it isn't attached and you just simply wish to make sure that it is attached to the IP camera. So let's just have a look at the RALfieBox. First of all, we need to attach the Wi-Fi antenna to the RALfieBox. All we simply do is grab that Wi-Fi antenna, make sure that's a reasonably tight fit, and we are done. So there we go. So our RALfieBox now has the Wi-Fi antenna. This is going to be important because our Lego Mindstorm in most cases will attach to Ralphie wirelessly through that link. Okay, while we're at it, let's put the Wi-Fi camera on the back of the IP camera. Again, we don't actually need this. At no stage are we using the IP camera in a wireless manner, but we'll put it on anyway. So there we go. We don't have any spare parts left over. We're not left wondering, wonder where that goes. Now all we need to do is connect our RALfieBox to the internet. And it really is no harder than setting up any of your home internet routers. We simply need the power adapter. Here I've got my power adapter. I've just coiled up the cable just to make it easy for this bench top. So all we need to simply do is plug that in. Whilst we're at it, let's put in the Ethernet cable. So on the back of the RALfieBox we have this blue internet connector. All we simply do is connect into that, and then on the back of our internet router, we simply plug into any available port. Alright, we're not quite there yet. We need to power up our RALfieBox. Again, all I need to do is simply connect that plug in there and make sure the power is on. Once that is done, all of the LEDs will light up here along the front. You'll see power, you'll see internet activity, and then eventually, once the whole system has booted, an indicator will light up over here to show that we have connectivity back to Ralphie. Once that has been achieved, it means that anything connected to any of these yellow ports will now be available on Ralphie and can be seen by the Ralphie server. So what we'll do is we'll just let that sit there for a moment and we'll wait for that light to come on, but we'll set up our IP camera. Alright, same sort of concept. On the back of the IP camera you'll simply find an Ethernet socket. All we simply need to do is plug into that Ethernet socket, connect that to one of the orange sockets here, or something that is what we're designating an activity. So we simply plug that in there. I'll just choose socket number 1, makes no difference. And then I simply need to power up my camera. So again, same sort of concept. Let's give ourselves a little bit more cable length. I simply plug in the power, connect my camera, and now on the back of the camera, let's just talk about this for a second. On the back of the camera there are a couple of different sockets. There is a power socket here, there's some relay ins and outs provided through this jumper here, and there is an audio port on the other side. We don't use any of those, but we do use this power socket. So if you're trying to put the power socket into the audio, you'll see that it actually won't fit. Well, actually, it kind of does fit, but just remember that we're not meant to be plugging into the audio socket, we're meant to be plugging into the DC power socket. So there we go, we've got honk. This light here has lit up and remained lit, and that is simply indicating to us that we are now connected to Ralphie. It means that the RALfieBox here is connected back to our main server, and anything we connect on the back of these ports, such as the IP camera, will now be seen via Ralphie. That's all you need to do to get started with the RALfieBox, connecting it to your home internet router, and then ensuring that you've got a webcam connected so you can see your activity. Thanks for watching.